A hole in the roof, a man on the floor, and a mystery that refuses to die. His name was Rey Rivera, 32 years old, writer, husband, dreamer. One evening he gets a call. He answers and runs out of his house. No wallet, no coat, no reason. A week later, his body is found inside the Belvedere Hotel in Baltimore. A hole above him, his glasses and phone untouched. No cameras, no witnesses, no answers. His family said impossible, because the physics didn't fit. The call came from his workplace, and a strange note was found behind his computer. It mentioned secret societies and ended with one line, "I know who I am." This is the story of Rey Rivera and the note in the ceiling. It begins with a hole, a perfect circle cut through the roof of the Belvedere Hotel. Below it, a man lies motionless on the conference room floor. His name is Rey Rivera, 32 years old, a writer, a husband, a dreamer. He'd been missing for a week. No one knew where he went, and no one could explain how he ended up here. The police said it looked like a fall, maybe from the rooftop, 13 stories high. But the details didn't fit. His glasses weren't broken. His phone still worked. His sandals lay nearby, one bent, one untouched. The hole in the roof was too far from the ledge. The fall was too clean, too direct. Physics said it was impossible. But the report was written anyway. Probable suicide. The family disagreed. They said Rey was happy. He had plans, dreams, and deadlines. So what could make a man run into the night and fall through a ceiling? That's where the mystery begins. Before the headlines, Rey Rivera was just a man in love with life. Born in Puerto Rico, raised in California. Tall, athletic, full of optimism. He wrote stories about courage and loyalty. He believed good people could change the world. He met Allison in 1999. They fell in love fast, married, and built a quiet life in Baltimore. She was the calm one. He was the dreamer. Rey wanted to make films, to tell stories that mattered. But creative dreams rarely pay the rent. So when his childhood friend Porter Stansberry offered him a job at his financial publishing company, Rey said yes. The company made money predicting markets. Bold statements, risky advice. And Rey worked behind the scenes, writing, editing, learning. But as the months passed, Allison noticed he wasn't the same. He was distracted, uneasy, looking over his shoulder. He told her he felt watched, that something was wrong, but he couldn't explain why. Still, nothing suggested despair. He loved his wife, his friends, his family. He was planning trips, training for a triathlon, writing a screenplay about heroes. Then one evening, a phone call came, and everything changed. May 16th, 2006, 6:30 p.m. Rey was at home. He got a call from work, a call that couldn't be traced. He picked up, said a few words, and ran out the door. No wallet, no coat, no explanation. That was the last time anyone saw him alive. The next day, his car was found parked behind the Belvedere Hotel. His phone charger, wallet, and papers still inside. No damage, no clue. The police searched the area. Nothing. The building was massive, with locked upper levels. No one thought to look up. 8 days later, a maintenance worker noticed a smell and a hole in the ceiling. Below it, Rey's body, decomposed, hidden in plain sight. The hole lined up with the roof above, but the distance made the jump impossible. He would have needed to run across 40 feet of rooftop to fall there. Experts said it couldn't happen by chance. But the report stayed the same. The rooftop of the Belvedere was surrounded by walls. To reach the ledge, you had to pass through locked doors, a narrow metal staircase, and a private club that was closed at night. No one saw him enter. No cameras captured him. No alarms went off. Inside the conference room, his body was found face down, his legs broken, his torso crushed, but his phone and glasses unbroken. Forensic experts said the physics didn't match. A fall from that height should have destroyed everything. Yet somehow his most fragile belongings survived. It was as if he had been placed there, or dropped from somewhere closer. The hole was too perfect, the fall too straight, and the question no one could answer: how did he get up there in the first place? In Rey's office, taped behind his computer monitor, Allison found a folded piece of paper. A note. It wasn't long, but it was strange. It mentioned names, filmmakers, friends, family, even his heroes. It referenced the Freemasons, secret societies, and a call to leave his mark. It read like a script, or a code. The police treated it as a suicide note, but Allison disagreed. There was no sadness in the words, no goodbye, only cryptic references. Game theory, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave behind my mark. Some lines were underlined, others written in symbols. The last sentence said, I know who I am. To Allison, it sounded like Rey was trying to understand something. Or someone. Maybe he was uncovering something hidden. Maybe he wasn't supposed to. The investigation was brief. Too brief. Police called it suicide. The company he worked for offered no comment. Phone records vanished. Leads went nowhere. The coroner marked the case undetermined, but no one followed up. Detectives never questioned Porter Stansberry, Rey's closest friend and employer. They never checked the company's server logs. They never explained who made that call. It was as if someone wanted the case to disappear quietly. Allison tried to keep it alive. She begged for new evidence, sent letters, contacted journalists, but doors closed. Calls stopped. People refused to talk. The silence around the case was louder than the truth. Online, the case exploded. Some said Rey had discovered a corporate secret, something worth silencing. Others said he was paranoid, suffering a breakdown. But those who knew him disagreed. He wasn't delusional. He was cautious, alert, scared. Theories multiplied. He was murdered. He was lured to the roof. He found something dangerous. And one theory stood out, that the note he left behind was the key. Not a farewell, but a map. A message left for whoever was listening. If that's true, then the note wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Stansberry and Associates made millions selling financial predictions. Rey worked there briefly, editing newsletters about markets and investments. But the company had been investigated before for giving illegal tips. Porter Stansberry was fined by the SEC. Rey left shortly after that. He started freelancing, writing screenplays, but he kept in touch with his old friend. And days before his death, he'd been helping the company again, unofficially. What was he working on? No one knows. The company never shared a single email, never released the call log. A man disappears after a call from his employer. His body ends up in a locked building, and everyone stays quiet. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. Allison never stopped asking questions. She replayed the call, the words, the silence after. She believed he was killed, that he uncovered something dangerous, that someone made sure he couldn't talk. Years passed. No new leads, no official answers. But the story refused to fade. Podcasts, documentaries, online forums, each trying to solve what the police ignored. But the truth stayed hidden, buried under money, power, and fear. For Allison, closure never came, only questions, and the echo of a life cut short by something that should never have happened. Time passed. The hole in the roof was repaired. The office cleaned. The hotel reopened. But the story of Rey Rivera didn't die. He wasn't a ghost or a conspiracy. He was a man searching for truth, and maybe he found it. His note ends with one line. I know who I am. Maybe that was his final revelation. Maybe it was his warning, or maybe it was his peace. Whatever the truth, it didn't fall from the sky. It was pushed. Rey Rivera's story isn't about how he died. It's about how he lived, and how one unanswered call can echo forever.